see. Hey guys, how's it going? Sorry I'm on.
What's happening, Joey?
Sorry
How
about
are you,
that.
buddy?
I'm doing good. Just got back home from Thanksgiving. Had a pretty big turkey dinner. How was yours?
Can't complain. I ate like a hog. I had turkey. I had prime rib. What more could I ask for?
Oh, prime ribs.
I was at my brother's house. I was eating good.
Oh yeah, I love
Yes, sir.
Thanksgiving. Is probably my favorite holiday of the year. But here you go.
Yep, it's a good holiday. If you're Italian, you like Christmas Eve too. A lot of different fishes.
Oh yeah.
As long as you don't sleep with the fish.
Yeah, that's true. I went to Hawaii when I was like 12, and I had mahi. Best fish I've ever had so far.
That is delicious.
Yes.
Absolutely delicious. So, what do we want to talk about?
Alrighty. So, the first thing I wanted to know, what age did you start investing, and what got you into it?
So I started investing at about age 18 in the stock market, age 19 in rental properties in New York, in real estate. What got me into it was the desire. Since I was like 12 years old, I had one goal, and I wanted to make as much money as fast as I could make it so that I could retire. So if you could believe it, I wanted to retire since I was 12 years old, and that's been my motivator. That's what drives me. And so I decided real early on that I always worked. I used to carry around shopping bags for people at Woolbarns was the name of this grocery store, for tips when I was like 8 years old.
Wow.
And I would make $20 in tips on a day. Great. Well, that means I was a hustler, always trying to make money. So what I learned when I started making money was, even if it was a tiny amount of money, take 80 to 90% of that, sock it away, and either invest it in the market or make it grow and then invest it in real estate, but always invest in something. But sock it away, because you always have to have dry powder. For instance, today was a bad day. We all took it in the ass. Right? Nobody made money today. If you made money, you were short the market. I'm never short the market, so I can never make money in a down market. But what did I do? I had dry powder. Gotta always have dry powder. You gotta stack the stash on the side, and I deployed money immediately. I've got always about 10 buy orders in that are ridiculously cheap, in my opinion. And then if they hit, I'm happy as a pig in shit. These are stocks that I want to own at cheaper levels. And that's the difference, I think, that I always did in my life, was when I saw turmoil and shit hitting the fan, I never, ever sold. Instead, I doubled down. And that's what I've been doing.
Well, that is a really good strategy.
So that's the.
And then a couple of my.
It's worked,
I know what you're saying.
I didn't hear you. You said a couple of your followers.
Oh yeah, a couple of my followers also had a few questions. They wanted to know what your thought on NFTs are.
Don't know anything at all about them other than what my kids tell me about them. So I can't give not even a string of advice on those. Those are above my pay grade. I mean, I invest in crypto, and I really don't understand what I'm doing. I just invest in what I see people talking about online, on TikTok. Then I do a little bit of homework on it. If it sounds like a reasonable thing to own at a reasonable price, I buy it. But I really don't know about them to give any advice.
Absolutely, but at least you know what it is. That like kind of shows everyone like almost everyone at least has their eyes on the space, and I feel like that's a pretty important thing.
And I will eventually jump in because, again, my kids keep talking to me about it. And when I get comfortable enough, I'll jump in. But from what I'm reading, it sounds as though that the area is overheated. I mean, what do you say about that? Do you think the area is
Yeah,
overheated, or are we in the beginning
I
stage?
think we're in the really beginning stages, but I think it's really similar to what I didn't live through the internet bubble. I mean, I might have, but I just didn't remember it because I was so young. Uh, and so I feel like this is going to be the
Yep.
next bubble, and so you're going to see a lot of NFTs that just are pictures not do well, but you're going to see NFTs that are like in virtual video games, like uh, that see what is that one? Oh, Sandbox. They're selling plots of land. It's one tiny little orange dot. They're all selling 12 grand out of like 100 dots in one.
That's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. Like I honestly think that's more money than like actual real estate. Almost, maybe.
Okay.
But
Very
but I
interesting.
think everyone has to be really careful because I feel like it's not like it's more of a like a huge long term thing, but I think there's only going to be a few that survive, and so everyone has to be very very careful. Like I bought my first one the other day, a digital horse, and my profile picture is actually an NFT, but it was just a free like $2 one, and they had like 10,000 when I thought it looked cool. So
Okay. So I got to start getting involved in a couple NFTs.
yeah, I think it's because like if you think about it, if you have like a virtual house, so like this little picture I have up here, it's like a alien on a spaceship with Bitcoin eyes, and so I feel like that would be the coolest like picture to have in your house,
Yep.
you know. And then let's see here, and then
Yep.
with your cryptocurrency that you've like I know you've gotten interested in, don't know a lot about it. Is there like a certain favorite cryptocurrency that you have right now at all?
Yeah. The one that I think, in my opinion, that has the most hope in terms of being a solid purchase for the long run with the most potential is Ethereum. That's my absolute favorite uh, cryptocurrency that I think's got a lot of potential, and I think you can get in terms of returns because Bitcoin is so expensive right now, and I do like Bitcoin. Just bought some more, I guess, in this turmoil at about $55,000 a coin. Saw it go down to 54, maybe even went lower than 54. Uh, but I also was buying Bitcoin down in the upper 20s, I think. But in terms of where Ethereum is and where it can go, I kind of like that one the best. And then on the cheaper ones, I am a big time contrarian investor. So what do? I always try to look for something people are not seeing and not getting. And I think in your cheaper coins, just from what I read and from what people tell me, I think your V chain is undervalued, misunderstood. I think it's a gem, and it's dirt cheap in my opinion. So out of the shittier type coins, I think V chain has a lot of potential in the future. That's just
Yeah,
my
absolutely.
opinion anyway. And I mean, I'm the deep person on that
Yeah,
stuff.
I actually I drive a 2019 Volkswagen GLI, and so the only reason why I was even able to get that is because in the beginning of 2020, in December of 2019, I was buying XRP at 11 cents. And when it went over $1, I was out. I needed a new car, and I had 50,000 XRP. And I was like,
Nice.
it was like everyone said I was crazy, and I've been telling my family about Bitcoin for years, but I was too young to like invest in it at the time because there was a certain time frame where it was still hard to buy. Coinbase a while back. And so, and then a lot of people only use
Yep.
with activity. And I was telling my uncles, like, Ethereum was at $18. Bitcoin was at like, it was like less than 1,000. But, but what if? But I really think that Bitcoin has the potential. Like, I
I
think,
remember Bitcoin.
yeah, it's consolidation right now. I feel like everyone is really underestimating the move that happened exactly 4 years ago between now and the end of the year. Because if you look,
But I also think people are.
wait, what are you saying?
No, I was going to say, I also think people are way too short term in thinking about these investments. I mean, if you think Bitcoin is going to go to $1 million one day, you hope for weakness and you keep increasing your position. I'm a long-term investor. Everybody who follows me knows I don't sell shit. I mean, I got about probably 10 buy orders in the brokerage account that I run, and I got 2 sell orders, but my sell orders are at way higher prices on these 2 particular stocks that I am willing to sell. I rarely make a sale. Most of what I do in life is buying, and that's done really well by me. And buying weakness, buying stocks that people don't understand, buying stocks that implode. But I'm noticing with these bitcoins, I mean not bitcoins, with cryptocurrency, I think people just want to make a quick buck. Now I get it, like you're talking about, you needed a car.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I mean, I always say, even now today, the market's at an all-time high. If you want to buy a house and you've got $1 million in a market and you want to buy a house, if it's me and I want to buy a house and I got $1 million in the market and I got $1 million in cash at an all-time high, I'm at the stock market to buy my house. I'm using an inflated asset to buy another asset. Cash, keep it dry. I mean, when you're at a high. Now, if we were at a low, people think the opposite. People want to sell when shit's hitting the fan. That's when people want to get out of the market. Well, you lost your mind. You're selling cheap. I mean, it doesn't make sense. So I think if people would just, unless you need the money, if people just thought a little bit more long term instead of short term, they would do themselves a world of a favor. I mean, fortunes are made. Fortunes are made if you too soon.
Yeah, I'm in this crazy situation. So at the beginning of 2020, I was working at a brand new car sales, like Gazan Motors it was called, and I had a pretty good amount of money up, and I had a good amount of money in the stock market, and I was there when Robinhood went blank and everything just tanked. It hit the circuit breakers and everything. Everyone at work was freaking out, and I pulled all of my money out of Robinhood and I put it all into Bitcoin when it was at like $4,000. And I told myself, I don't care. You can never sell it ever again, and you have to try it, because I watched it go from whatever it was to 20,000 and then drop that hard, and I couldn't not do it. And so I still have it today on the offline wallet, but I can't touch it because I have to pretend it doesn't exist, because I really truly believe that if I hold on to it, I can send my kids to college, and I could probably get a good car out of it and a house probably too.
I agree with you. I think you will be able to do this with Bitcoin. Us older people have underestimated Bitcoin and cryptocurrency so bad we should be ashamed of ourselves, because hats off to people like you who figured this stuff out early on in life. People were pimping Bitcoin to me at 800, And just because I did not understand it, I didn't buy it at $800. I mean, I could have bought thousands of coins at $800 when
Oh, I know.
people were telling me to buy.
Yeah, my uncle the
Just
other
dumb. I mean, I kick myself in the ass daily.
one of my uncles, the
Wow.
first uncle out of everyone in my family, they said no to it at almost every price in the book at 20,000 earlier, and my uncle Ben caved and bought 5 Bitcoin the other day, and so I hopefully he holds on to it. He just retired and he has all this money and he's living life, and so fingers crossed for him. But then, what advice?
Okay.
Yeah, what advice would you give to a young investor that's say I'm 23, my age, or even younger, like the viewers that are 18, 16, like what do you recommend they do? Like what do you wish you would say to your former 18-year-old self?
Okay, so I have a current 18-year-old son. I have a current
Oh,
20-year-old
there you
son.
go.
And when they were 5 years old, I was investing for them in the way I wish somebody was investing for me. But my parents were born in Italy. Investing was not their thing. They didn't understand it. They didn't do it. But 18-year-old son, I would say, if you have a job and you're making money and we're going to use round numbers to understand it. You make $1,000 a month, but you're living at home still. So you don't need $1,000 a month. I would say you take, if you're brand new to the market, you take an equal amount of money and try to invest it in 3 extremely safe places and do it every single month. So what you do is you open up a checking account. You start socking away the money you don't need. You keep that separate from the money you do need. And that money you don't need, you never tap into it unless you're doing something important with it. You want to buy a different asset. You want to buy a home. You want to buy a car that you absolutely need and you just can't afford to do it any other way. A car is a losing investment. I recently bought a brand new car. I used cash with it. I didn't sell stock in the stock market. Even though the stock market's high, I used a crappy asset, which is cash. Cash is crap. So I used a crappy asset to buy another crappy asset. So
Yeah,
that's what I did. But I'm in a very good position, thank God. I mean, if you have the option, let the money ride unless you're buying something that's an asset like a house you're going to live in. But anyway, so what would I do? Get Warren Buffett. He said that he would advise people to put their money into the S&P 500. So you fund. Today, what did I do today? I got an index fund that I buy every single month, $250 worth of the S&P 500 Charles Schwab. You can buy it through anybody. Today, the market tanked. So I gave him another 300. The Sequoia Fund, which is symbol is SEQUX. If you look at the chart of the Sequoia Fund, it's money in the bank. I mean, other than the one mistake they made with a pharmaceutical biotech type company, and I was with them when they made that mistake. These guys don't make mistakes. When Warren Buffett broke up his hedge fund, he told people put it in the Sequoia Fund.
yeah. And then I expect that when you think
I do every single month.
one second. Oh, did you
hear you?
Oh, okay. So, also, kind of adding on to that, you said you're like a real estate investor. So I don't own a house. I live in an apartment. And when you're buying your first house, Are you going for your dream house, or should you settle for a smaller house? And like, how do you manage that? Because I feel like a lot of people my age are looking at the prices of houses just going up so high. We're wondering how we're ever going to be able to afford one.
You said you're paying rent now?
Oh yeah, right now I'm in an apartment. I don't have a house that I'm living at.
Paying rent right now?
Wait, what?
So real estate, like the stock, is extremely high. So just like I like to buy stocks when shit hits the fan, I like to buy real estate when shit hits the fan. And if you give any market, including real estate, time, shit will hit the fan eventually. And that's when you want to buy. Like in 2008 through 2011, the market went to the real estate market crumbled and went to hell and basically gave us that horrible recession and the stock market monster crash. What did I do? At that time, I started buying rental properties because they were cut in half. Those same rental properties today are worth twice what I paid. It was a good move. It was scary at the time, but it was a good move. So my advice would be wait for the right time. You will get an opening. You'll get something crazy. China will plant a new COVID virus on the world, and half the world will die. Everyone will think it's time to sell every single asset. They'll sell real estate. They'll sell gold. They'll sell Bitcoin. They'll sell everything. And we go back to that thing I told you about, the dry powder. Be ready with the dry powder. When others are selling, you want to be buying. You don't want to buy while they're buying. Yesterday and the day before, the market wasn't tanking. I bought nothing yesterday and the day before. Today, I see the market down 1,000 points. There's no way in hell I'm going to sit back and watch that without buying something. Now, I'm not stupid. This market could go down another 15,000 points next week. I don't know. I'm not God. But I can tell you if it does, I'll be in there buying. I will be in there buying, and I won't regret it. You know, I don't make monster bets all at once. I gradually grow good positions in great assets. And that's another thing that's helped me out real good. I mean, so many times you buy a stock you absolutely love. And thank God you step there into your position, because tomorrow it goes down 15%. Next week it goes down another 30%. After I've owned something for 3 weeks, I see the thing cut in half. I can take advantage of that now. I can go in and I can buy these same assets at cheaper prices. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Again, people have stop-loss orders. I have never put a stop-loss order in my life. Why?
Yep.
If I decide I want to buy a stock, I don't want to sell when everyone else is selling. I want to buy more when the idiots are selling. I mean, I want to double down, triple down, quadruple down. I'll give you a perfect example. Sirius Satellite Radio. The first shares I ever bought, SIRI is the symbol. I paid $10 a share for the first shares.
Oh.
The last shares I ever bought, I paid 16 cents a share for the last shares. You know how many thousands of shares I bought at 16 cents? I can't even tell you how many thousands of shares. Now, why did I buy thousands of shares at 16 cents? Okay, well, 2008, like I told you, everybody's thinking world's coming to an end. And I see Sirius at 16 cents a share, and people are saying, oh, they're going to go bankrupt. And everybody's, shitting themselves, and everybody's selling. And I'm like, wait a minute. They're the only satellite company out there. There was XM, but I think by that time they already bought XM. They're at 16 cents a share. I have had satellite radio in my vehicle for as long as they've been in existence. I'm like, there's no fucking way these guys are going out of business. No fucking way. So I bought thousands of shares. I still own probably 3, 4, 5,000 shares of Sirius Satellite Radio. I got no reason to sell them. So what you want to do is wait for an opening. I don't like paying full price. Buy shit on sale. Buy that real estate on sale. You're paying top dollar right now. Now, it looks like you're never going to be able to buy something. Everything is cyclical. Real estate will get its ass handed to it. When interest rates, I'll give you another example. Everyone's crying. They're worried shit about interest rates. If interest rates go up tremendously, real estate goes down tremendously. So you're going to have your opportunity to buy that real estate. What you want to do is, while you're waiting to get the opportunity to buy the real estate, build a cash hoard so that when the opportunity comes, you don't got to worry about where you're going to get the money to put down a monster down payment. And that's how you can buy something that's valuable to you. You're going to live in this house, but not overpay for it. So I mean, what I would be doing if I were you, if I was paying rent, I didn't own a house, I just try not to pay a lot of rent. I try to live in something that's affordable.
Oh yeah, I'm living in my area near my college. Like a lot of things are expensive, but I'm living like in the cheapest apartment you possibly can, and I'm trying to save as much as I can because like if I had to pay 600, like I don't know realistically what it's like to earn like 60 or 70 or $80,000 per year at like a job after I graduate. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I've been telling my girlfriend, we've been really talking about how when you start making that money, it's going to be really important to not just spend it all on useless things.
You bet. You bet. You know, I could have I have wanted my entire life to drive a Mercedes. My entire life. Since I was 18 years old. Right out of college, I did land an amazingly great job that made me crap loads of money. So for somebody my age, I mean, I was probably doing better than people 3 times my age when I was in my very, very early 20s. I wouldn't be surprised. Just for me, crap loads of money. And so what's the point I'm making here? Oh, always wanted a Mercedes. So I could have afforded a Mercedes probably at age 19, 20 latest, buying it outright without a loan. I waited until recently to buy the car I liked, but only after I knew that, okay, I mean, I waited so long that I waited until I was so comfortable in terms of the position I'm in, where I say to myself, my kids will be able to go to college and they won't have to worry about a student loan. I've got a nest egg and I don't have to worry about interest rates going up, interest rates imploding. The stock market could go to hell. I really don't give a shit. I'll be there buying if it happens. So you're right. Wait for the unnecessary purchases until you're in a position when you got everything covered. And then you say to yourself, okay, I'm sitting good right now. I'm going to reward myself. I'm going to buy that Mercedes or BMW, whatever it is you like. You know, I'm going to reward myself. I'm going to buy myself a Rolex. That's something else I always wanted my entire life and waited till many years later in life to splurge on myself. But many years later, and let me tell you something. If you are an investor, when you spend money on yourself, on things you don't need, man, you get a sick feeling in your stomach. You'll know if you had done it. If you spent $1,000 on something, you said to yourself, why the fuck did I do that? Man, I could have took that $1,000. I could have invested in the market. It could turn into $10,000. So you will have guilt trips. A true investor has guilt trips when he spends money where he doesn't need it. And those guilt trips are going to help you be successful in life. Don't Don't knock those guilt trips. If you get guilt trips when you waste money, you're going in the right direction.
That's good to know for sure. Because I
Oh,
get that
absolutely.
almost every big purchase. Like I bought like my dad, it was his birthday, so I bought him the new Call of Duty game. And I mean, like, it's only the new Call of Duty, but that's like $100 for a birthday gift. That's kind of a
Yep.
lot.
Yep. Well, that's good. So you're thinking smart. You're thinking smart. Don't waste the money. Save it. Set a number. I'm telling you, like I said, don't get used to before the big money comes in. Decide to yourself, what do I really need to live off of? And then sock away the rest and never look at it. Look at it for the big purchases. And then you know what? So that 18-year-old person, I would say actually that this is the 18-year-old person should make those moves, investing in something that's rock solid and safe, not risky speculative stuff. Because what's going to happen is they're going to get their ass handed to them, and then they get a bad taste in their mouth, and it may scare them away from the market. And that would be the worst thing that could happen to them for the rest of their life. So, you buy a quality. Somebody your age can afford to take more risky speculative investments than somebody my age, because you've got 50 years to make your money back.
Yeah, that's true.
So don't overdo it. Even though you have 50 years to make your money back, so I would say somebody like me, I probably am investing speculatively 10%, maybe 15% of my money is pure gambling, speculative investing. But honestly, I would not advise people to go overboard on speculation. The speculation keeps you interested in the game and it makes you have fun. But the investing, the long-term great investments are going to build your wealth and keep you rich. Forget about keeping you in the game. The stuff that you buy and you forget you own. I still own Procter and Gamble and Pepsi, probably that I bought 30, 40 years ago. I can't tell you the money I made on those two stocks. Because, another thing I do, you got a stock that pays you a dividend, don't ever take that dividend. You take that dividend, you tell the brokerage house, and you tell them, reinvest the dividends right back into the stock. Again, if you're owning a stock and you like the stock, why would you not want to buy more shares of this stock? And then you pray that the stock that pays you a dividend gets the shit kicked out of it for no good reason. And you're in a market, you've seen stocks, and you say to yourself, you scratch your head and you say, why is this stock getting killed? I say to myself almost on a daily basis, and I've been doing this for 40 years. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah.
When you say that, you want those dividends that you get paid quarterly, or maybe they don't pay it quarterly. Maybe they pay it twice a year. However they pay their dividends, because different companies do it different ways. You want to buy more of these great quality companies on the cheap. I can remember days when I was buying Pepsi with the dividends at $40 a share. Well, Pepsi's probably, I never even look at Pepsi and Procter & Gamble. They're both above $100. I never look at them. They're like a CD, because they give you a dividend, which they will never cut. And your yield is whatever your yield is when you bought that stock. So how can you go wrong? You just buy quality and then just forget about it. Forget you own the quality. But you want to get out of speculation when the time is right. Because if you overstay your welcome in speculative shit, you will be a bag holder. I've had stocks go to zero. I've had stocks go bankrupt where I just overstayed my welcome. I had stocks that went from $1 to $30 and from $30 to zero. Those are mistakes you don't want to make when you know you're not making an investment. So that you got to differentiate what you're doing. If you're investing, you buy, you sell. You buy, you hold forever. If you're speculating, have a preset number in your head when you're speculating. Say, you know what? If this stock went from $1 to $3, I'm out. And just do it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yep.
And then one of the people in the comments right now is asking if you were between the age of 20 and 25. So basically, if you were my age and I had $100,000, what would you spend it on? Would you spend all of it? Would you spend any of it at all? Or what would you do if you were 23 years old with 100 grand?
Well, there's a lot of other things I don't know. Is 100 grand all that that person has?
Yes. Yep. So basically, if I have 100 grand and like I want to invest and I haven't put a substantial amount in yet, I don't have any real estate, I don't have a house, like, do you start trying to get a house with that 100 grand, or do you, like you were saying before, wait till everything goes down, which would probably be a good move, and then would you dividend stocks at these levels?
So if you don't already own a house and you want to own a house, I would put $50,000 aside as a healthy down payment on a house eventually. Not now, but eventually. So that 50, I put it someplace safe. Safe meaning you can never lose your principal balance. So that means maybe it's the highest possible CD rate you can possibly find. Maybe it's a money market rate, the highest one you could find. I would put, if you don't own a house and you want to own a house, 100 I would put away. The other 50, because we're at an all-time high in the market, it's a hard time to invest the other 50. So I would put it into 4 different rock star mutual funds / index fund. But I wouldn't do it all at once because we are at an all-time high. So I would say to myself, I'm going to invest, let's say I want to put $10,000 into the S&P or $12,000 into the S&P 500 index fund. I would say to myself, I'm going to put $1,000 in a month for the next 12 months. I'm going to try and do it on the same day. However, if the market gets the shit kicked out of it like it did it today, I'm changing that date. So if I was supposed to buy the S&P 500 in 2 weeks, but I see the market goes down 900, I'm putting that 1,000 in the day the market goes down 900. Now, I would do that with not only the S&P 500. I would do that with the other 3 mutual funds or index funds that I would use. And me personally, I know what I've got 4 that I invest in every single month, come hell or high water, for years. I don't look at it. I don't take the money out of it. The 4 symbols are SWPPX. That's the Charles Schwab S&P 500 Index Fund. Another symbol is PRWCX. I'm not sure if this is still open to new investors. It's called the T. Rowe Price Capital Appreciation Fund. You know about the Sequoia Fund, that's SEQUX. And the other fund I absolutely love is FCNTX, which is the Fidelity Contra Fund. Now, why do I love that fund? If you look at that fund, you're going to take a bat to your head and say, why didn't I buy this 10 years ago? I did, though. I mean, I bought it 10 years ago. I bought it more than 10 years ago. But the chart looks like this. And even when the market gets the shit kicked out of it, this fund finds itself always going like this. I mean, it's such an amazing, and the guy has, there is the fund manager's name is Will Danoff, one of the greatest fund managers ever on earth. If he ever leaves Fidelity Contra, I will sell immediately. The minute they say to me, he's retiring, I'm out of that fund because I'm betting on the horse, not the fund. And the horse is Will Danoff. So that's what I would do.
Sorry.
I would invest $1,000 a month in those 4 out of that 50 until I used it all up. And if you saw opportunities, the market getting the shit kicked out of, I'd send more money. I do that all the time. That's what I would do with the other 50. Because remember, you're saying you're bringing now 50 to the market. 50 is not a lot of money in the stock market. So you shouldn't be playing individual stocks with only $50,000. I wouldn't be doing that. Although I did, but I learned from mistakes that I started with nothing. I mean, I started my portfolio with no mutual funds, just buying stocks. You learn the hard way there, because when you make mistakes in stocks, it's not forgiving. You can lose a lot of money. And, in mutual funds, if they make a mistake on one stock, the fund doesn't get creamed. The fund might go down a penny or two. You make a mistake in a stock, you can lose $15, $20 in one day.
Yeah, absolutely. And then when it comes to the metaverse, and so there's a metaverse like ETF, like Meta or something.
Right.
Is that something that you think it would be a good option to invest in something like super long term if you were looking for one of those four?
So I bought Mana, MANA, at about $1 a coin. I think it's about $5, but after today, maybe it's got the shit kicked out of it. I don't know. I bought it because of the metaverse. And my safest play on the metaverse is Facebook. That stock is like 300 and change a share. I've said it once. I've said it more than once. I think that stock goes to $1,000 a share. That's my opinion on metaverse. I've played it two ways. I've got Mana, the coin, MANA, and I've got Facebook, the stock. I already made, on Mana, I made 5 times my money in a short period of time. I don't even look at it. Like I said, I don't even know. Maybe it's not $5 a coin now. I don't know what Mana is right now. But I don't even look at it. So I decided that Mana was going to be an investment for me. So that means it's got to be a super home run for me to consider selling it. I'll give you if you look at the high on Facebook, it was probably close to $400.
Mm-hmm.
I bought at 38. Never sold one share.
That's pretty good.
Never sold one share. Never. Why? I saw the value a long time ago. And I'll tell you what, if it hits 1,000, like I think it will, and I don't know when, but I don't think it's going to take too long. I don't think it's going to take them too long. Anyone buying Facebook today is buying it dirt cheap. Now, does that mean Facebook won't go down another $100 a share? It could. It could go down another $100 a share. But I'll tell you, I have money managers where I have sent them recently money to invest, and they have free reign to do whatever they want. They have been buying me Facebook above 300. Now, that pisses me off a little bit because I say to myself, you guys are buying above 300, and then me, the guy who doesn't, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a money manager, and I was buying at 38. Like, why weren't you guys buying at 38 instead of me? So why am I the guy buying at 38? We probably also, by the way, want to cover our disclosures. Neither one of us is a financial advisor. Neither one of us is a stockbroker. People do not buy or sell anything based on us, on what we're saying. You got to do your own homework and then talk to whoever your financial advisor is before you make serious decisions, because you can lose every dime of what you invest. So I wanted to get disclosures out of the way, because we're in a very litigious world nowadays, and you say the wrong thing, you look at somebody crooked, before you know it, you're in the middle of a lawsuit, and then the only guys making money are the lawyers.
Absolutely. And so I recently I sold out of my position in TYME because of the challenge I'm doing. But it's something that I own in my Roth IRA. It's not something I own like a super ton of. I think I own like probably less than 300 shares of time in my Roth IRA that I'm going to be holding. And if it's stock like that, like it's just something you got to forget about, not even care about the value, ride it all the way down to zero, right?
If that's the way you feel about the stock. Now, I haven't studied TYME to give an opinion as to whether or not that's good advice to write it to zero. But when you are convinced and you're so sure of yourself that you see mistakes being made by others when they're selling, then me, what I do when that happens is that I buy more. And no, I don't sell. And I'd hate to say you want to ride something to zero in your IRA because then you can't even write it off.
Oh yeah, but like a
So
small amount of it. So like I want to make sure that in my Roth, I want to risk manage.
it won't kill you.
It won't kill me. Yeah.
Right.
It
won't kill you. Right.
Yeah.
So it's worth it.
Good. Okay. Yeah. Because
when the risk is worth the reward, always take the risk.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If the risk is worth the reward.
And then let's see here. And then what factors do you look at in determining like the fair value of a stock? So if like you want to buy a stock and you really like a company, do you ever like try to determine what you believe like the fair true value is?
So I work like nobody else works when it comes to stocks. So I'm not using the earnings of a company. I'm not using charts. I'm not using Fibonacci nonsense. And I'm calling it nonsense, but it's not nonsense. It works for some people.
Professors say the same thing.
Right. So what do? I look at the stock, and I do look at the chart, and then I read as many articles as I can about the stock. And then you're going to get clues. There's going to be analysts that come out, and they're going to say to you, this stock is trading at $5 a share. I think it's worth $8 a share. So then I look again at the chart, and I say to myself, where has the stock been? How high has it been? How low has it been? So how I determine a fair value is that if news comes out that's extremely bullish and a stock runs up, it might be worth that ran up value. So maybe a stock's at 5. Somebody comes out, says something real bullish, runs up to 7. I'm not buying at 7. So I say to myself, even though the analyst said this should go to 9, 10, 15, I want to own close to 5 before he came out with this news. And then I know I'm safe. Because when he came out with the news, it was an undervalued stock. It was undervalued because you got 1 or 2 analysts who say it's worth more than what it's trading at today. So I come up with my own value based on where's the stock, where has it been, how has news affected the stock, and then most important of all, does Wall Street have it right or do they have it wrong? And sometimes it takes following. I mean, I have on Yahoo Finance, I have a batch of stocks underneath the title. It says stocks I would like to buy. Now, what that means is I'm hoping they get the shit kicked out of them for a wrong reason. So I keep an eye on these stocks on a daily basis. And if I see suddenly something goes down 20, 30%, I go back into that stock and say, why did it go down 20 to 30%? What I love most is when a stock gets creamed because of a bad quarter. I'm self-employed. You have better quarters sometimes than you do other times. One bad quarter is not a reason to take a $10 stock and bring it down to $7 a share. You know, we have a lot of weak hands in the stock market. So when that happens, you're gonna see stocks go down tremendously that shouldn't go down tremendously. And I decide what fair value is. I decided that SPCE's fair value is $15 a share. Why? Just a number that sticks in my head. I called it, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago. It went down to $15.60 a share and never hit the 15, so I never bought it. Then it went up to about 30. Now SPCE is back down to about $16 a share. It's going to hit 15. Maybe it's at 17 today. Maybe it recovered a little. It's going to hit 15. At 15, I'm going to start a small position. I'm going to buy 100 shares of SPCE at 15. DWAC, same thing. I looked at the news. Before the news came out, it's $9 a share. In the pre-market, when the news comes out that Trump is making his own media empire, in the pre-market, it's $15 a share. The minute the stock opens, it's $45 a share. By the end of the day, it's $80 a share, $170 a share. I didn't chase it at all. I'll tell you what I have, though. I have a buy order in at $15 a share. Why? How did I come up with that number? It's fair value to me because before they came out and said Trump's going to have his own, like a Facebook, the stock was at 9. In the pre-market, it went as high as 15. So I said, that's good enough news. I'll give you the run from 9 to 15. Normally, I'd say, nah, I'm only willing to give you $9 a share for that. But the news is good enough. I think Trump is such a good talker that people, when they go to his rallies, they really love him. You either love him or you hate him. So if you love him, you understand why they love him. And if you hate him, you hate him. But he can sell a social media company.
Yeah.
But the risk is too high now. The app doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
So at 15, I'll start a position. At 15, I got a buy order already in there. $15 a share, I'll start with 100 shares. And then I'll pray for weakness to buy more shares.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's how I do it.
It is a really good strategy. I just so what a lot of people don't know what's going on with my $5,000 challenge. So what happened was because I put all of my money in the beginning of 2020 that I've saved up into like crypto and holding it forever and never touching it, that I was so low on money that I couldn't invest a bunch at one time in the stock market like I wanted to. And so I had about $1,000, and then some person that was really nice that was following me said, I'm going to give you $5,000. I'm going to give you a year, and you can keep every single penny you have. And then if you lose money, I don't care if it goes to zero, that money's worth nothing to me. And I said, wow. All right, wow. And I really thought it was like a scam at first, but he was like, no, I when you have so much money and you have the car, you have the house, you have 8 sets of golf clubs, and he's like, if you follow someone like you want to do that. And I was like, oh, sweet. So that's what I did.
That's amazing.
So yeah, I'm trying to make the best out of the challenge.
Oh yeah. Well, I think you're on the right road. You're going to get there.
But even if I don't make anything out of it, it's still like a really great learning experience that I've been able to have.
You bet. Absolutely. And you know what? You care about that money, even though you didn't earn it. You feel responsible for his money because he put it in your hands, even though he didn't put it in your hands to manage it for him, but he put it in your hands and you don't want to squander it. You know, for all he knows, you could have took the $5,000 and bought a motorcycle that was on sale or something. I mean, I'm just using it as an example, but that's not what you're doing. Instead, you're trying to take that $5,000 and turn it into $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, $50,000, so that one day you can go back to this guy and say, and show him, look what I did. Here's your 5. Look what I did. And the amount of pride that comes with it, and the amount of self-confidence that comes with it. It just, everything feeds off itself. And you know what? You might lose money. Why? Because nothing's guaranteed in life except for death and taxes. You might lose money. But like you said, you're going to have an experience, though. You're going to learn while you're doing it. And as long as you learn from your mistakes and don't make the same mistakes twice, you're going to do really good. But guess what? When you invest in the stock market, you're going to make the same mistakes twice, 3 times, 4 times, because there are so many things at play that you can't control. Insider trading, the people on Wall Street bets manipulating it. And I'm using them as an example. I'm not picking them out and picking on them. I'm just saying things can happen. Hedge funds getting together and saying, let's all sell this stock at the same time. Let's all buy this stock at the same time. You and I know this is happening. Nobody's going to admit it's happening, but people play the market. So you can't control it. When they're playing the market, you're either going to ride the wave up with them or you're going to get acts when they play games, and there's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like the pay safe situation is also another one of those. I got really lucky. I sold, like when I sold my TYME, I sold PaySafe before earnings just because I thought it was going to go up after earnings, but just because I wanted to start clean, and then it dropped that huge drop, and I was like, "Oh my goodness." And I
Yep.
and it there's no way that like that earnings would have warranted the stock to get killed that much. And so like you were saying, like I sold, you were buying. And so like if people do that more often with the companies that they really believe in, they would yield crazy long-term returns.
That's true. And pay safe, I noticed today was down too. Uh, I just started that position. So now I'm actually on the other side. I'm actually hoping it goes down more. Why? I think long term, it's a good company in the right place. Uh, but right now it's out of favor. Well, then that's got me written all over it. And out of favor stock, they have a bad quarter. That's a perfect example. They had a bad quarter, and holy crap, they took it out and shot it with a shotgun right in the head and said, "Okay, you're out of here." I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't
Yeah.
believe what I saw there.
Wow. Yeah, that was the stock. I almost didn't think like that kind of drop after what it's already gone through was even possible.
No. So you did good there. Congratulations to you on that one. You got out at
Yeah,
the right time.
dodged the bullet. Yeah,
You
I
dodged the bullet.
yeah, well, yeah. Right now, with the rest of the challenge, what I'm doing is, with knowing and looking at Bitcoin for so long and knowing the trend of what happens, I am all right now. I'm all in just for the risk Riot blockchain because in 2017, I saw Riot blockchain go up higher percentage than Bitcoin when it went up, and the whole thing is the biggest deja vu in my mind of the
Yep.
exact how it happened.
Yep.
And
That's a smart move. That's a good way to play it. I mean, what are you getting? What are you paying now? About $36 a share for Riot?
yeah, right now it's sitting at 35, 33. And then like last week it went up 8%, then down 8% the next day, then up 9%, then down 9%, then up 8%. Then today I'm down 6%.
Right. It's a
Yeah,
good, cheap way to play it.
absolutely. And I'm really excited for what's going to happen because I'm really scared for a lot of the people talking about like cryptocurrency on TikTok and stuff. Like they don't understand. Like I watched Ethereum go from over two, like maybe not 2,000. It's probably like high 1,000s, I think, and then it went all the way down to $90. And
Wow.
I was there. I didn't own any, like I owned one Ethereum at the time, but like it wasn't a huge, like I was just like, oh my goodness, because
Wow.
it was something that like if you saw that movement in 2017 and looked at it, you would have thought the whole crypto market was going to $0.
And that's scary.
It is. And
Yeah.
I think, and it's happened every 4 years in the crypto cycle. And I think, but one day I've always known that one day it's not going to do that as it matures in the future and starts getting mainstream adoption. Because when it dips, you got Odell Beckham Jr. taking 100% of his salary in the NFL in Bitcoin. You have
Combined.
players doing that. And so there's comes to a point where in 2017 and the bull run before that in 2013, they didn't have those that happening. And so it was a lot easier to just crush it. And Catherine Wood has this theory that they've been crushing it this whole time, but one day they're going to run out of money to stop crushing it and it's just going to rip. And I don't think it happens I think it goes a really, really good this bull run, but I don't think it's going to be this time. But I think like if you come like 2025 or 2029, 2030 area, I really think that they're going to lose control of what they're trying to do and hold off Bitcoin because they're putting all their power into, like Hillary Clinton talked about Bitcoin the other day.
Wow.
Like
Unbelievable.
Yeah, they're basically, and I think the bank's gonna buy it all at one time. I think the bank's gonna realize one day that the only way for them to survive and thrive is they're gonna buy the crypto, and you're gonna buy it from the bank instead of buying it from where most people buy it from now.
Well, like a buddy said to me about 3 weeks ago, he said to me, you have to buy these different coins, not all of them, and you got to hold because this is so early on in the game. A lot of like what you've been saying. There's such a tiny percentage of today's investors that are involved in cryptocurrency. The day that it is as easy to buy and sell, like stocks at Charles Schwab, and the day that the average investor is in cryptocurrency, these coins, if they're of any value at all, should kick crazy ass. I mean, you haven't even seen the beginning of the run. Do I think Bitcoin could hit $1 million? Yes, I do. I think it could hit $1 million. When? Can't answer that. But if I saw it at 1 million, I would not say, holy shit, I didn't see it coming. Nope, I see it coming. It's a fucking small, inch by inch monster. It's just growing bigger and bigger. People, if you told me 2 years ago I was going to buy cryptocurrencies, I would have told you, you've lost your mind. It'll be a cold day in hell if I invest $1 in cryptocurrencies. And then all of a sudden, I started realizing if I don't get involved here, I'm going to shoot myself in the head because something's happening here and it's not going away. I mean, how many? I watched the freaking Bitcoin go from $800 where I started to pay attention to it, but not buy it. Just pay attention to it as people talk about it. From $800 to $67,000. And you mean to tell me somewhere along the line, I didn't wake up and say, hey, you better start buying something over here. So that's why when it went in the 20s, I started buying that and Ethereum and other coins. And now, do I have a ton of my money in it? No. Why? Because we still are very new at this. And my biggest fear is the same fear I've always told everybody on TikTok. I fear the government intervention, the damage they could do more than I fear anything else. We have the most messed up government on earth when it comes to how they destroy companies. It's almost like a jealous government. You know, if they see you do real well, they want a piece of the action. They want to destroy you as a company. So I fear that they will fear Bitcoin doing real well. And you'd be surprised. The government wants people to be poor. Why? The government wants you to be dependent upon them. Now, if you're dependent upon them, you're going to vote for them and keep them in office because you're going to say to yourself, well, you know, they just gave me unemployment plus $400 a week for free on top of unemployment. And geez, if these guys get voted out of office, I'm fucked. Where am I going to get all that free money from if they get voted out of office? So the government is probably nervous now that there are a lot of regular Joes getting rich from cryptocurrency. So my fear, why I'm not double-fisted jumping in, why I'm not investing in crypto in the same degree as I'm investing in stocks, is that I know how much damage the government can do in stocks. They haven't revealed what damage they can do in crypto. I don't know if they are going to do it, but I think eventually they're going to do something. And until I know what it is they do, I'm reluctant to invest sick amounts of money in crypto.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think just from watching how it moves every time people are calling for it. So I think the government crackdown on it could start like whenever it comes the next like crazy bear market for cryptocurrency. And if it's anything like the internet bubble that I've been reading, and I saw what happened in 2017, 2018 to 2020 in crypto, like Amazon was trading at $112 and went down to $8 during the internet bubble. And could you imagine investing in Amazon at like say 70, 60, even $50 and just having to go from 100 to 6 or 8. Like that would be ridiculous. And so I think that a lot of people have to be, like you're saying, you have to be ready for that event to happen, because all of us, we've never experienced anything like that. Like I haven't experienced anything like that in the stock market. Like I saw it in crypto, but do you think that like the equivalent of Bitcoin going from 20,000 to 4,000 could happen to the stock market if it ever decides to do a full out crash like it did when we were all too young to understand what's going on?
Well, I've witnessed the crashes since the 500-point drop on what they call Black Friday back in 1986. So I've witnessed and was invested from 1986 on. So I was a part of all these horrible crashes. So if you're asking me if the stock
Oh,
market could tank again like it did in 2008, you bet your ass. And I hope it don't, because even that scared the shit out of me. Because there was talk of banks going out of business. There was talk of companies, many companies going out of business. So I don't think it could get to the same degree, but I think we could get a real serious crash. And I think it could easily happen to the cryptocurrency too. And when it probably does, it'll wipe out a lot of the shit coins. And just like when the stock market crashed in the dot-com era, a handful of the good companies survived, and most of the junk went out of business. That's why I always say when I tell people, oh, I bought some Shiba, oh, I bought some Elon, Doge Elon Mars, or I bought some Doge. I'm throwing like $500 at these coins. If they go to zero, I don't give a shit. And I'm going to leave them alone, because if they go to a buck or a penny or 5 cents or some crazy number, I'm going to then cash out, but cash out rich on that alone, having nothing to do with my other assets. So, your shit coins can easily go to zero. Your quality ones, your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, I think they could get cut 75% down. They could go, especially if the government fucks something up. And yes, you want to be there picking some up, because this shit ain't going anywhere. There's governments all over the world taking this on and saying, we're going to use this cryptocurrency. It is not going away. They want to fight it because they too don't understand it. Instead of fighting it, they should embrace it and try to understand it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I completely agree. And it's completely changed my perspective. For when I have kids one day, I'm going to be asking them what they think I should invest in, because a lot of the time, like I'm starting to get to the age where I'm not in the loop as I used to be, like when I was
Right.
in like, or like even middle school, even, because so many of the things that are going to happen before they happen, because they're happening at the smaller level. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. And
Okay.
yeah, I
So
think
are we good? We got anything
yeah,
else?
I think this was the best thing ever. Thank you so much for letting me.
I really enjoyed it. I hope that we have helped some people. And hey, maybe if we get enough requests and people get some information to us ahead of time, and they want us to maybe do a little bit of homework on stuff and put our minds together and do something like this again, I'm game. I'm in.
Absolutely, yeah.
No problem.
Oh, so many people on TikTok, they're saying, "Oh, look how bad this guy is. I'm the best," right? And so I think I was like thinking about it, and I was like, what if like a bunch of the good creators just like became really good friends like online, and so everyone could see that, and it would be a lot like more of a
Yep.
positive community. You know what I mean?
Sure. Hey, we could, on TikTok, we could be the next Wall Street Bets. We could all get together and say, hey, there are a lot of shares short on this particular company. Maybe we all want to go in and buy up shitloads of these shares. And if we each have a couple, who knows how many followers we're going to have in the
Yeah.
future. But maybe we could be the next Wall Street Bets and control how the market goes. And people start having us on CNBC interviewing us instead of Vlad, and maybe talking to us about where we think things are going to go with the market. Anything could happen.
Yeah,
Anything's
I
possible.
think the coolest thing I saw was Crypto Wendy. I don't know if you've ever seen her stuff, but she started in like about the same time I started on TikTok, and she was a really small creator, and she blew up, and she actually, for the first time I've ever seen it, a person on TikTok got a legitimate like story on the news about how she educates about cryptocurrency, and
Wow.
I saw that, and that's how I know that the people that are doing this for the fun and doing this because they love investing and they want to learn and they want to teach people and meet people, and all the people that are doing this for the money to get the money for the Discord that they're selling right now so they can flex a bunch of cash, they're all going to be wiped out, and we're going to be the
Yep.
ones.
Yep. I don't ever charge anybody for anything. Nope. Yeah, I'm not about charging people. I'm about seeing if I can help people out. Great. And I enjoy what I do. Like you said, you got to love it. I love investing. I love looking at the ticker every single morning. I love finding a stock that I think is misplaced and misunderstood. It's the thrill of the kill for me. It's always been the thrill of the kill.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much again. I appreciate it, and
Yep.
do this again soon.
Yep. Absolutely, buddy. Take it easy, man.
You too.
I'll talk